Let's talk about doubt, not the healthy kind that helps you examine facts and avoid reckless choices, but the quiet, corrosive force that operates beneath the surface of your consciousness, the kind that stalls ideas before they become action, the kind that Napoleon Hill referred to as the enemy of faith. If belief builds bridges to your destiny, then doubt is the invisible force that tears them down before your first step. Doubt often disguises itself as logic, maturity, or caution. It enters your thoughts with language like, "What if I fail?" or "I'm not ready yet." But Hill reminds us that these aren't signs of prudence, they're symptoms of inner defeat. Doubt doesn't just prevent progress, it rewires your entire mental state into one of paralysis. And when you're paralyzed, opportunities pass you by unnoticed, unseen, and unclaimed. This is where the psychological depth of Hill's work becomes evident. He knew that doubt wasn't merely a lack of belief, it was a condition of fear. Fear of criticism, fear of poverty, fear of failure. These fears, left unchecked, become deeply embedded patterns in the subconscious mind. And because the subconscious is the engine room of action, a doubtful mind can never produce decisive action. It will always hesitate, always second guess, always fold under pressure. And what makes doubt even more dangerous is that it's often invisible to the person experiencing it. You might call it humility or realism. You might say, "You're just being careful." But the truth is, your inner voice has been hijacked by fear, and you've accepted its terms without negotiation. Hill warned that the most successful people in the world had at one point to confront this enemy and destroy it. Not suppress it, not ignore it, destroy it through conscious, consistent belief in their ability to achieve what they desire. How do you destroy doubt? By replacing it not with empty affirmations, but with disciplined thought, rooted in purpose. Hill emphasized that clarity of purpose was the antidote to hesitation. When you know exactly what you want, and you've emotionally committed to it, doubt has no place to live in your mind. Then if it tries to return your definiteness of purpose, casts it out again. This isn't some romantic idea, it's a psychological principle. The human mind cannot hold contradictory dominant thoughts. If belief becomes your dominant thought, doubt will weaken. If action follows belief, doubt becomes irrelevant. And if you condition yourself to expect success, your subconscious will begin to shape reality around those expectations. But let's be honest, belief doesn't eliminate fear overnight. It doesn't silence doubt forever. What it does is give you the strength to act despite those inner voices. That's the real power Hill wanted you to see. Not that you'll never feel uncertain, but that your belief will be stronger than your uncertainty. The journey from doubt to destiny doesn't begin with talent. It doesn't even begin with opportunity. It begins with a decision to reject fear and move forward anyway. You cannot tiptoe into your future. You must claim it with conviction, because in the end, no enemy is more dangerous than the doubt you allow to live unchallenged in your own mind. Burn this into your memory: doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. If belief is the ignition, then action is the engine. One without the other is powerless. Napoleon Hill taught this relentlessly, not just believing in success, but acting in alignment with that belief, over and over until results begin to take shape. And the truth is, most people don't fail because they didn't believe, they fail because they didn't act. At least not consistently, not courageously, and certainly not deliberately. There's a critical misunderstanding that Hill worked hard to correct. That belief alone can bring about transformation. It can't. Belief without action becomes fantasy. It's like having a map, but never taking a step. Action is what converts the unseen into the seen. It turns vision into evidence, and yet many people sit paralyzed, mistaking thought for progress. They say, "I'm visualizing, I'm manifesting," but nothing materializes. Why? Because no energy is being transferred from thought to motion. The current is broken. Psychologically, the mind craves resolution. When you form a clear desire, your subconscious begins to seek harmony with it. But if you feed it passivity, contradiction arises. This disharmony becomes tension, anxiety, frustration, confusion. The only release from that tension is movement, some form of forward progress. That's why procrastination feels so heavy. It's not laziness, it's a mental misalignment. You're thinking about a better life, but reinforcing the opposite by inaction. Hill wasn't interested in temporary bursts of action either. He emphasized persistent, purposeful, and intelligent action. Random movement is just busyness. Strategic, repetitive motion in the direction of your aim is power. That's the difference between being active and being effective. The most successful people don't wait for motivation to act, they act themselves into motivation. They understand that emotion follows motion, not the other way around. And this is where the philosophical principle comes into play. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Wishes lie in the conscious mind, but work programs the subconscious. And once the subconscious is programmed, it begins to filter, attract, and organize your environment in astonishing ways. Hill called this the law of autosuggestion, a law rooted in the science of repetition and the psychology of identity. What you repeatedly do becomes who you are, and who you are determines what you naturally attract and sustain. If your actions don't reflect your beliefs, it's not your dreams that are broken, it's your discipline. We have to be willing to do the uncomfortable work when no one is watching. You can't become strong by thinking about lifting weights. You become strong by lifting when it hurts, when it's inconvenient, when it would be easier not to. The same rule applies in your business, in your relationships, in your personal evolution. The future doesn't reward the dreamer, it rewards the doer. It honors the one who takes steps in the dark, not just the one who visualizes the destination in the light. Because each action, no matter how small, is a message to the universe, to your own mind and to others, that you are serious, and seriousness carries weight. It invites momentum. And once momentum is built, even the smallest effort begins to generate disproportionate results. So the question isn't, do you believe you can succeed? The real question is, are you acting like someone who believes they can succeed? Because the world will only believe in your dream as much as you do. And the proof of that belief is always found in what you do next. Let me leave you with this action. Is the bridge between belief and destiny. Build it every day, and one day you'll walk across it. Now let's address something most people underestimate: environment. Not just the physical space you inhabit, but the people you associate with, the content you consume, the energies you allow into your daily awareness. Napoleon Hill was absolutely clear on this: your surroundings either reinforce your belief and fuel your action, or they quietly dismantle it. The truth is, belief is not born in isolation, it's cultivated. And what surrounds you is either cultivating confidence or planting seeds of doubt. Think about it: the most determined person can still be weakened by the constant presence of cynics. If you're trying to build belief while living in an environment that mocks ambition, you're fighting a battle on two fronts: your inner resistance and your outer resistance. Till warned of the drip influence of negative surroundings. It may not shake you immediately, but over time, it wears you down. And the most dangerous voices aren't always loud. Sometimes they're soft, familiar, disguised as concern. Be realistic, they say. Don't get your hopes up. That's not love, that's limitation. Philosophically, this is about energy. Every relationship, every conversation, every stimulus is either expanding your belief or shrinking it. You have to become ruthlessly aware of this, because belief, like a fire, needs the right conditions to grow. Starve it of oxygen, and it dies. Feed it with hope, exposure to success, and disciplined association, and it becomes unstoppable. Hill called this the power of the mastermind: not just having people around you, but aligning yourself with minds that harmonize with your vision. This is not just motivational rhetoric, it's neuropsychological truth mirror. Neurons in your brain literally respond to the emotional energy of others. Sit in a room full of driven, focused people, and your own ambition is elevated. Sit among pessimists, and you'll feel the gravitational pull toward mediocrity even if you resist it. You must curate it the way a great artist curates his tools. If you're trying to rewrite your destiny, then the people you spend time with should be aligned with that destiny. Not necessarily perfect people, but people who are moving, growing, aiming higher. And this doesn't just apply to people, it applies to habits, media, books, Even your morning routine. Your environment isn't just what's around you, it's what gets inside you. But here's where it becomes deeply personal. If your environment is not empowering you, you have to change it, even if it means being alone for a season. Sometimes solitude is more fertile than toxic, Company Hill said deliberately. Seek the company of people who influence you to think and act for yourself. That's not just strategy, that's survival. Because your belief is fragile. When it's new, it's like a seedling. It needs warmth. It needs protection. Once it becomes a tree, then yes, it can withstand storms. But in the early stages, that's the hard part. For many, it means letting go of old friendships, turning off familiar distractions, saying no to comfort. But remember, comfort zones are breeding grounds for disbelief. If you stay where you've always been, you'll stay who you've always been. So, ask yourself honestly, what are you allowing into your life that is making it harder to believe in your own future? What conversations are shrinking you? What routines are dulling you? What patterns are quietly keeping you in doubt? Hill taught us that greatness begins in the mind, but it is sustained by environment, so shape it, build it, protect it. Here's what I'll leave you with. You don't just rise to the level of your vision, you rise to the level of your environment. And if you want to walk into destiny, you must first step out of doubt's neighborhood. Let's now confront one of the most quietly destructive forces working against belief: inaction. Not doubt, not fear, inaction. Because once belief has begun to form and the environment is set to nurture it, there comes a moment where life presents a choice. Will you move? Will you act? Will you step forward into uncertainty? This is where most people stall, not because they don't believe, but because they wait for belief to become absolute before they take action. They wait for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, or the perfect conditions. But what Hill taught us, what the world's most successful individuals have lived, is that belief is strengthened by action, not the other way around. You see, belief is not just a state of mind, it's a state of movement. It's not enough to sit in a room and think positively. You must take steps, however small, that align with the vision you're cultivating. Each action is a signal to your subconscious mind that says this is real. That is how belief becomes conviction, and conviction is what creates momentum. Psychologically, this is one of the greatest truths Hill ever taught. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. But faith is not passive, it is dynamic, it's faith with legs. You can't think your way to success. You must act your way into it even when your belief is still trembling. Especially then, because action silences doubt like nothing else can. It's easy to get lost in strategy, easy to wait for certainty. But remember, clarity comes from movement. Action doesn't require full confidence. It just requires enough faith to start one step, one email, one decision. That's all it takes to turn belief into something tangible. And here's the irony. When you don't act, your belief begins to rot. It decays. The mind starts to question itself. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this isn't the right time. But this isn't the voice of wisdom. It's the voice of stagnation. Belief must be fed with results. And results only come when you move. I've seen people paralyze themselves with planning. They map every outcome, analyze every possibility, and in the end, they do nothing. But what they don't realize is that every day without action reinforces the old identity, the identity of waiting, the identity of hesitation, the identity of potential, not purpose. This is not about recklessness, this is about aligned action, movement that mirrors belief. Napoleon Hill said, "Do not wait. The time will never be just right." That's not just a motivational quote. A philosophical principle. Time by its very nature is neutral. It becomes valuable only when infused with intent. And your intent, when backed by action, becomes your destiny. So let's simplify this. Don't aim for perfection, aim for direction. Ask yourself, what can I do today that proves I believe in where I'm going? Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's waking up earlier. Maybe it's walking away from a situation that no longer serves you. Whatever it is, do it. And once you do it again, repeat until movement becomes your default, until hesitation becomes unfamiliar. Because every act of courage, no matter how small, expands your capacity for more. And when you act repeatedly, even through fear, the fear changes. IT doesn't disappear. it just loses its power. Why? Because you've shown yourself that belief isn't just something you have, it's something you live. So don't wait, don't pause, don't overthink. There is no perfect moment, only this one. And what you do with this one will determine what the next one becomes. I'll leave you with this. Destiny does not wait for the confident, it responds to the committed. And commitment is revealed not in what you believe, but in what you do.